But the point is too, everybody gets a vote. This is not a change just for Indigenous people. It's about the whole country.
Correct.
Let's have a look at some more of what Anthony Albanese had to say today.
The truth is that it is hard to win a referendum without bipartisan support, but that is a position that Peter Dutton has taken. He took before even the committee process had been established in the parliament that he said he wanted. The National Party didn't even bother to know what the question was before they said no. So that's just something that, of course, will have an impact.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for Anthony Albanese, but that's why you should have perhaps worked harder to get bipartisan support or compromise beforehand. We've managed to plug in Ali Clarke in Adelaide, just a bit late getting her plugged in. Good to talk to you, Ali. The Voice, these polls. The big question is whether it's too late now for the yes case to win this, for Anthony Albanese to reinvigorate the campaign and get people on board. What's your sense?
Yeah. They needed to go hard. They needed to go right from the start and be really clear and give us the detail that we've wanted. Now, I love figures and facts, but they can say lots of different things. It's just a shame we don't know the specifics and why these numbers have changed. But yeah, I don't know. I think the horse has pretty much bolted and it's really hard to get back.
Yeah, I've got to say, right at the start of the year, and I like the idea of a yes, as you know, and I've been wanting to work towards it, but when they took so long, the other factor that I thought would come into play, Ali, is that I knew this government was going to run into strife. We knew they were going to run into strife on cost of living because of interest rates and electricity prices and whatever. And now that's really starting to bite, which it should. That undermines their authority trying to sell anything else to the electorate now, right?
Oh, of course. And this is always the thing. Unfortunately, we are essentially having to deal now even more and more with self. What is affecting us specifically? And when people are worrying about how they're paying electricity bills, what they can and can't do and buy from the supermarket anymore, larger, esoteric, bigger conversations that are just as important to so many people might not necessarily be cutting through. And so therefore it's easy for people to sit back and say, oh, I'm just not going to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gemma, we've seen reports today that there's been a doubling, not huge numbers yet overall, but a doubling in the number of people in Victoria who have their power cut off because they can't pay their bill.
I flew up from Melbourne today at lunchtime. I spent the weekend down there and it was all anyone was talking about. And that was the lead story in the 10 o'clock news and 11 o'clock news down there. It is, we are running, wide-eyed off the edge of a cliff here. And I don't understand how the governments, particularly of those states, and I say this coming from Western Australia, which has had a dom guest reservation policy in place, I think, since the Carpenter Labor government, a very long time. So not directly affected in that sense, but it is just this irresponsible, terrible policy that is hurtling towards this utopia that we know the emissions targets can't be reached in the time that they would like them to be reached at. And at what point do we say enough? Do we not? I think we have the privilege of looking to Europe and being able to go, OK, well, that didn't work and that didn't work and these are the... No, but genuinely...
we do, but instead Chris Bowen says we're going to emulate them. Well,
then we'll be turning all the coal back on. If we're going to be emulating Europe...
We'll go nuclear.
We'll be going... Well, we should be going nuclear, but we'll be turning coal-fired back on because we won't be able to survive without it.